Okay, good morning. Yesterday, we have started with the thin shell, and in this thin shell, here we have finished the theory of thin cylindrical shell. Okay, now when the cylindrical shell is subjected to some pressure, here the two type of stresses are induced in the shell. Cylindrical shell. Which are the two type of stresses induced in the cylindrical shell? Here one is a circumferential stress and other one is a longitudinal stress. Clear? So circumferential stress induced in a cylindrical shell is given by P d upon 2T, where P is the pressure, D is the internal diameter and T is the thickness. Here this is also known as the hoop stress. The second stress is the longitudinal stress. Here the resisting force is acting along the length here. So that corresponding stress is known as the longitudinal stress here, and we have derived the formula for that yesterday. It is PD upon 4T. Then I told you that here in this thin cylindrical shell, that circumferential stress and longitudinal stress here, which are perpendicular to each other. One is acting along the circumference and other one is acting along the length. So these two stresses are acting perpendicular to each other. At the surface on which these two stresses are acting, here on that one there are no shear stresses. And since there are no shear stresses, so these circumferential and longitudinal stresses are itself are the principal stresses. Okay, so these principal stresses, which are the normal stresses, are also responsible to induce the shear stress here. So actually the sigma C and sigma L, these are the stresses induced because of the internal pressure, and because of these stresses the shear stress is induced. Here normal stresses are also responsible to induce the shear stresses. Here it is not necessary that to induce the shear stresses the shear force is required. Okay, even the normal force or the normal stresses are also responsible to induce the shear stresses on some inclined plane. So this maximum shear stress induced in a cylindrical shell is given by, here it is PD upon AT. Here it is sigma n1 minus sigma n2 by 2. That is sigma C minus sigma L by 2. Okay. Then because of the internal pressure, here the dimensions of the cylindrical shell changes. Okay. Now to find out that change in dimensions as well as change in volume, we have to calculate the strain. Here. So we have calculated the shear strain, circumferential strain. Okay, the circumferential strain here is given by, it is sigma C upon E. This is a resultant strain in circumferential direction. This is the strain in circumferential direction because of this both the stresses. Here, so this is the strain in circumferential direction because of sigma C and minus mu into sigma L upon E. Here, this is the strain in circumferential direction because of the longitudinal stress. Here, so by using this formula, we can calculate the circumferential strain, and this circumferential strain is given by change in diameter upon original diameter. With the help of this, we can calculate the change in diameter. Here, so because of the circumferential strain, the diameter changes. Then longitudinal strain is given by, it is sigma L upon E. This is the linear strain in longitudinal direction. Here minus mu into sigma C upon E. This is the lateral strain in longitudinal direction because of the stress acting in circumferential direction. Okay, here this is the linear strain and this is the lateral strain. Okay, here so this is the strain in longitudinal direction, and this longitudinal strain is responsible to change the length. Here, so the change in length upon original length gives you the longitudinal strain. Here, so with the help of this formula, we can calculate the longitudinal strain, and by using this longitudinal strain, we can calculate the change in dimensions. Here, then for cylindrical shell, in fact, all these formulas are applicable for cylindrical shell only. Then for cylindrical shell, here the volumetric strain is given by, it is EL plus 2EC. Yesterday we have derived this formula also. Okay, in first lesson, here we have written that the volumetric strain equal to strain in X, Y and Z direction. Here, but for cylindrical shell, here the volumetric strain is EL plus 2EC. Okay, if I substitute this formula of EL and EC and sigma C and sigma L, even this formula also I can write in terms of P, D and T. Clear? But instead of remembering this in terms of PD and T, just remember this formula. Clear? Calculate it separately. Here, so while solving the sum in cylindrical thin shell, here you have to start from this sigma C, sigma L. With the help of this sigma C, sigma L, you can calculate EC and EL. With the help of this EC and EL, you can calculate the change in diameter, change in length. Again, with the help of that EC and EL, you can calculate the volumetric strain. And with the help of this volumetric strain, here you can calculate the change in volume. We know that the volumetric strain equal to the change in volume upon original volume. Here, this way we can calculate the change in dimension for the cylindrical shell. Okay, here now we'll solve few questions on this. Question bank is sent to you on WhatsApp. Here, refer that PDF file. Okay. While solving the question, just you have to write down the given data here and this procedure you have to follow. That's all. Very simple questions. The first question from our question bank, it is given that a cylindrical vessel whose ends are closed by means of the rigid flat plates. Okay, here, just 1 minute. Okay, so it is given that a cylindrical vessel whose ends are closed by means of the rigid flange plates or flat plates is made of the steel plate of 3 mm thick. Here, let's write down the given data. Okay, the thickness is 3 mm. Here, thickness is given as 3 mm. The internal diameter and the length of the vessel is 25 centimeter and 50 centimeter. Okay, internal diameter is given. It is 50 centimeter means 500 millimeter, and length, internal diameter is 25, sorry. It is 25 means 250 millimeter and length is 50 centimeter means 500 millimeter. Okay. Determine the longitudinal and circumferential stress. Here you have to calculate the circumferential stress. You have to calculate the longitudinal stress. Due to an internal fluid pressure of 3 Newton per millimeter square. You have to calculate sigma C and sigma L because of the internal fluid pressure of 3 Newton per millimeter square. Internal pressure is given. Also calculate the change in length, diameter and volume. Also you have to calculate the change in length, change in diameter and change in volume. This you have to calculate. Yeah, very straightforward sum. Okay, thickness and diameter and the length are given, pressure is given, and you have to calculate this stresses induced in the shell, as well as you have to calculate the change in dimensions. Here, here in this question clearly it is given that to calculate the change in length, change in diameter and change in volume. But sometimes here in the question it is asked just to calculate the change in dimensions. So even if there is a question, find out the change in dimensions, by default you are supposed to calculate the change in diameter, change in length and change in volume. Okay, clear? So this is the given data. So first you have to calculate the change in, circumferential stress and the longitudinal stress. Here we know that the circumferential stress equal to PD upon 2T. Here P is 3 Newton per millimeter square. The diameter is 250 millimeter. Upon 2 is thickness is 3. From this one you will get the 125 Newton per millimeter square is the circumferential stress here. And since this this is subjected to the internal fluid pressure, the nature of this circumferential stress are tensile. Okay, here then the longitudinal stress equal to PD upon 4T. Actually it is half of this circumferential stress here, so which is equal to 62.5 Newton per millimeter square. This is the longitudinal stress. Its nature is also tensile. Okay. Now we have to calculate the change in length, change in diameter, and change in volume. To calculate the change in diameter and change in length, here we require the circumferential strain and longitudinal strain. Here, when the circumferential strain is given by EC equal to, it is sigma C upon E minus mu into sigma L upon E. Okay, the value of take mu equal to 0.3 or 1 upon m equal to 0.3 is given. 1 upon m is nothing but a mu here, and modulus of elasticity is given as E equal to 200 GPa. If it is 200 GPa, now all our units are in Newton and millimeter square here, or millimeter. So let's convert it into Newton per millimeter square. So 200 GPa means 200 into 10 raised to 3 Newton per millimeter square. If you substitute this mu and E over here, अगर आप इसको simplify भी कर सकते हैं, I can take 1 upon E common, so it is sigma C minus mu into sigma L. Just substitute the value, you get the EC. Since it is the strain, it doesn't have any unit. Okay, and then this EC is equal to change in diameter upon original diameter. ये EC यहाँ से मिलेगा, substitute here, original diameter is given, which is 250. From this one, you'll get the change in diameter. Very simple. Okay, exactly in the similar way, here to calculate the change in length, let's first calculate the longitudinal strain. Here, so longitudinal strain is given by EL equal to sigma L upon E minus mu into sigma C upon E. If I take 1 upon E common, then it is sigma L minus mu into sigma C. Substitute the value, you will get this EL. And this longitudinal strain equal to the change in length upon original length. Original length is given, so from this one you can get the change in length, which is in millimeter. This is also in millimeter. Okay, here then to calculate the change in volume, we require the volumetric strain, because original volume is known to you. Here now, volumetric strain for the cylindrical shell. This is for cylindrical shell. So for cylindrical shell, the volumetric strain is given by it is EL plus 2EC. EL plus 2EC. EL and EC both you have calculated. Substitute that value over there. You will get the volumetric strain, and then this volumetric strain equal to the change in volume or original volume. Here, so this change in volume is equal to volumetric strain into original volume is pi by 4 into d square into L. Here substitute that value, you will get the change in volume in millimeter cube. Any doubt? You have to substitute the value and complete that sum. Here answers are given in the question bank. Here cross check your answers. Any doubt? Any doubt?
No, sir.
Okay. Now, the next part is, so yesterday I told you that here these are the stresses and strain when we consider the seamless tube. Here this cylindrical shell is a seamless shell. Here it is a, there is no seam, there is no joint, or even if there is a joint, it may be the welded joint whose strength is more than the parent material. But sometimes here the vessels are made up of, or the joints are given as a riveted joint. Here, now when riveted joints are there here in a thin shell, here how to calculate the circumferential strain and the longitudinal strain. Here, what will be the change here in the circumferential and longitudinal stress here when the riveted shell is there. Okay, so let's consider now the riveted shell. Riveted shell, riveted cylindrical shell. Here, if I consider this riveted this cylindrical shell here. So here this may connect here with such type of circumferential joint and it is a riveted joint here, or here such type of longitudinal joint may be there. Okay, here. So this is the circumferential joint. And this is the longitudinal joint and it is a riveted joint. Okay. Now, when the circumferential and longitudinal joints are given, here their strength is less than the strength of this parent material. Okay. In such cases, we have to consider the efficiency of this circumferential joint and the longitudinal joint. Here, if eta L, this is the eta which represents the efficiency. So, if eta L is the efficiency of longitudinal joint, and eta C is the efficiency of circumferential joint. Now, because of this circumferential joint, here the longitudinal strength get reduced. Here, ये longitudinal strength reduce होता है उसकी वजह से. Here, because of this circumferential joint, here the resisting forces which are acting, circumferential joint इधर रहेगा here, and because of this hole for the rivet here, this force of resistance which is acting along the length get decreased. So because of this circumferential joint, the longitudinal strength get reduced. Understood here? And because of this here, when we calculate the stresses, longitudinal stress, here when we calculate the longitudinal stress, here we have to consider the efficiency of this circumferential joint. Okay, here we have to consider the efficiency of this circumferential joint here. So in that case, here this longitudinal stress is given by PD upon 4T into efficiency of the circumferential joint, because when circumferential joint is there, the strength along the longitudinal direction is reduced. Similarly, because of this longitudinal joint here, the circumferential efficiency gets reduced. Okay. Here, यहाँ पे जो force of resistance induce होता है, here that force of resistance is reduced here because of this riveted joint, here because of this longitudinal joint here, and that's why in this case the circumferential stress is given by PD upon 2T into efficiency of the longitudinal joint. Here, don't get confused. Here when it is the circumferential stress, you have to consider the efficiency of the longitudinal joint, and when there is a longitudinal stress, you have to consider the efficiency of the circumferential joint. Okay, here all other formulas are same. Here there will be change only in the circumferential and longitudinal stress. Here, now sometimes here in the question, here these joint efficiencies are given. If the joint efficiencies are given in percent here, but in this formula you have to take it in percent only. Here that is 80, if it is given as 80%, so 80 upon 100, you can take it as a 0.8 directly. Okay, all remaining procedure is same, और question ऐसा ही आएगा जो हमने last question solve किया था. Similar to that, only the efficiency is given. Okay, now the second question from our question bank here, in which the circumferential, longitudinal and circumferential joints efficiencies are given here, which are 80% and 50% respectively. Here just changes you have to make over here, all other sums is similar. So this second question is for homework. Okay, here. Then the next part is spherical shell. Okay, here spherical pressure vessel. Here till now we have studied the cylindrical pressure vessel. Now if there is a spherical pressure vessel, here how to find out the stresses? here and a change in dimension in a spherical vessel here. Now in spherical vessel, or spherical shell. Here, when there is a spherical shell, which type of stresses are induced here? Here, now in the spherical shell in x direction and y direction, there is only diameter. Here, for cylindrical shell, x direction there was a length and y direction there was a diameter. Here, but for spherical shell in x and y direction, the dimension is same and it is the diameter. Okay. Now, because of the internal pressure, which type of stress is induced in the spherical shell? So, if it fail, here it fail in the form of hemisphere. It is fail in the form of hemisphere. The force of resistance is induced over here. Okay, अगर ऐसे फेल होता है तो this force of resistance are induced like this, and this force of resistance are along the circumferential stress. So because of this, in spherical shell in x as well as in y direction, here there is only circumferential stress. Here because this force of resistance which are induced, these are induced along the circumference. Here there is no length, so they are acting along the circumference, and the corresponding stresses are known as the circumferential stresses. Here, जैसे cylindrical vessel में circumferential and longitudinal two type of stresses induce होते हैं. Here, but in spherical shell there is only one stress and it is a circumferential stress. Here, but how to calculate that circumferential stress in a spherical shell? Here, so procedure is same. Here, if you are remembering, here for the cylindrical shell, we have first calculated the bursting force. Then in equilibrium, that bursting force because of the pressure is equal to the resisting force developed in the shell. Here, then we have calculated the stress. Here, so in this case, here how much is the bursting force? Here, how much is the bursting force here? Bursting force because of the pressure. Here pressure is acting like this. Here, so actually the pressure is acting on this curved surface. Here, ये curved surface पे pressure act हो रहा है. Here, but I told you that to calculate the bursting force because of the pressure, here instead of considering the curved surface, we have to consider the projected area. Instead of considering the curved area, we have to consider the projected area. Here, so in this case, the bursting force is equal to the intensity of pressure into this projected area on the vertical surface, or this projected area on the horizontal surface. Here, so it is how much? It is pi by 4 into d square. Here, जो curved surface area है, उसको project करो on vertical plane. Okay, so it is pi by 4 into d square. This is the bursting force. Here, and in equilibrium, this bursting force itself is equal to the force of resistance which is induced along the circumference. So this force of resistance equal to P into pi by 4 into d square. Here now we know that the circumferential stress equal to this force of resistance. Force of resistance upon area of resistance. So force of resistance is P into pi by 4 into d square. This is the force of resistance upon area. Now this area. If this internal diameter is d and the thickness is t, and if we open this area, it will be pi dt. If you simplify this, here you will get it is Pd upon 4t. So for spherical shell, here the circumferential stress is given as Pd upon 4t. Here the same stress in x direction as well as in y direction. Okay, here it is same in x and y direction. Here if I consider this is the cylindrical shell. Okay, and if I consider a small patch on this surface here, so in x direction also the circumferential stress, and in y direction also the circumferential stress. Okay, here, and its magnitude is sigma c equal to PD upon 4t. Here, don't get confused. Here, circumferential stress is PD upon 2t. Here, circumferential stress is PD upon 4t. And in x and y direction, it is circumferential stress only, which is same PD upon 4t. Okay. Now, because of this internal pressure, here for spherical shell also, the dimensions change. There is only one dimension, that is the diameter, but the diameter will also change. As well as the volume will also change. Here, now we have to study the volumetric and volumetric strain to calculate the change in volume, and the circumferential strain here to calculate the change in diameter. So in this case, here for spherical shell, here the circumferential strain, here in X, there is biaxial loading, biaxial stresses are there. So we have to consider both the stresses here. So this circumferential stress equal circumferential strain is equal to, here it is sigma c upon E. Let's consider this. It is sigma c upon E. Now in the same direction, the strain because of this sigma c. So it is minus mu into sigma c upon E. Okay, same formula, but only instead of longitudinal stress, we are using the circumferential stress only. Okay, here if you simplify this, you will get this. Clear? But I suggest you remember this only. Same formula, this formula and this formula same, only instead of sigma L, here it is sigma C. And this circumferential strain is responsible to change the circumference or the diameter, so which can be written as delta D upon D. Okay, here. Now, in the similar way, yesterday we have considered the volume of the cylinder pi by 4 into d square into L, और उसको differentiate किया. वैसे if you consider the volume of the spherical shell and if we differentiate this here, exactly in the similar way we will get the volumetric strain, and for spherical shell the volumetric strain is equal to, here now same formula मिलेगा, only instead of EL there is EC. So for spherical shell it is EV equal to 3 EC. Remember this thing. Yes, it is EV equal to 3 EC. If you derive the formula by considering the volume and differentiating it, here you are going to get the same formula. Okay. Here yesterday मैंने ये derive करके दिखाया था आपको. Exactly in the similar way you can derive this. Okay. Here and here, instead of longitudinal, if you consider the circumferential, because here length and dimension in x direction and y direction both are same, and it is the diameter. So instead of EL, you can use EC, and you will get EC equal to 3 EV, and with the help of this EV, you can get the change in volume for the spherical shell. Here original volume is different. Here for the spherical shell it is different, for cylindrical shell it is different. Okay, for spherical shell it is pi d cube by 6. Here original volume for the spherical shell, it is pi d cube by 6. You can write it in terms of R also, but remember in terms of diameter. So it is pi d cube by 6 volume for the spherical shell, and for the cylindrical shell it is pi by 4 d square into L. Okay, yeah. So exactly in the similar way for the what we have solved for the cylindrical shell, for spherical shell also we can do it in the similar way. Okay, any doubt?
No, sir.
Okay. Now for spherical shell, it is given that, here I'll write down the data only. Here you solve the question at your home. This question is question number 9, sum number 9 from our question bank. Here data is given. A spherical shell having 1250 millimeter diameter. Here diameter is given 1250. And manufactured by using a plate of thickness of 5 millimeter. It is filled with a fluid under the pressure of magnitude 1.5 meter per second square. 1.5 Newton per millimeter square. This is the internal pressure. Determine the surface stress, surface strain. Here, so it is asked to calculate the surface stress and surface strain. So the circumferential stress and strain, what we have calculated, these are nothing but the stresses and strain inducing the surface only. Here, so in short, we have to calculate the circumferential stress here and circumferential strain here, which are known as the surface stresses also. Calculate the surface stress and surface strain and change in diameter and change in volume. Change in diameter and change in volume. To calculate the change in diameter, calculate the circumferential strain and equate it with delta D upon D. From this one, you will get the change in diameter. And calculate the volumetric strain, which is equal to 3 EC. So with the help of this circumferential strain, you can calculate the volumetric strain, and with the help of that volumetric strain, here you can calculate the change in volume. Okay, here for this sum, take mu equal to 0.25 and E equal to 200 kilonewton per millimeter square. E equal to 200 kilonewton per millimeter square. So 200 into 10 to 3 Newton per millimeter square. Here everything is given and procedure is exactly similar what we have solved for the cylindrical shell. Okay, it is exactly similar to that. Any doubt?
No, sir.
Okay. Now, one last part is remaining in this lesson is when some fluid is inserted in this cylindrical or spherical shell. Here, what will be the change in diameter? Here, we suppose one fluid is already filled in the cylindrical shell at the atmospheric pressure. Okay, here at atmospheric pressure, we can fill the fluid in the cylindrical vessel equal to its volume. Okay, but additionally, if I inject some fluid in that one under pressure, here under pressure, if I inject this fluid, here for example, suppose there is one cylindrical vessel, here cylindrical thin vessel, and volume of this cylindrical thin vessel is 1000 millimeter cube. Here it is 1000 millimeter cube. Now it is filled with a fluid at atmospheric pressure. Now with the help of some external device, if I insert some fluid, here if I insert the fluid of suppose 100 millimeter cube additional fluid, if I insert it, okay, here definitely the internal pressure will increase. Here beyond capacity, इसका इतना capacity at atmospheric pressure. Here अगर उसमें मैं ज़्यादा fluid insert करता हूँ, here with the help of some external device, here the internal pressure will increase. It will be more than atmospheric pressure, isn't it? Here then what will be the pressure inside the cylinder here to accommodate or after inserting this much volume of the fluid? Here such type of question we have to solve. Here अभी इसमें भी when we insert some fluid, here the given fluid may be compressible or incompressible. If it is compressible, what will happen? If it is incompressible, what will happen? Here, that is the second part here, or last part of this lesson here, that will solve tomorrow. Okay, here today we'll stop here only. Here tomorrow we'll continue with this, what will happen when the compressible or incompressible fluid is injected in the cylinder. Okay, here tomorrow there will be little bit changes in the schedule here because tomorrow morning is not possible for me to conduct the lecture, but I will arrange, I will talk with the other teachers so that at 9:30 you may have some other subject lecture, and I will conduct in the afternoon, here maybe at 12 o'clock or 2 o'clock. Okay, so I will inform you on the group, and you now write down your name and roll number. For your test, here I will suggest prepare up to this only. Here that compressible and incompressible, if even if you have not prepared, here it's okay. Here prepare at least up to this. If you go through your previous year question paper, here most of the university question paper, here in most of the question will be based on this only. Here very rarely that question asked when compressible and incompressible fluid is injected. Okay, here that we'll study tomorrow, but for the test, here the syllabus is up to this only. Any doubt?
Sir, what is the timetable for test?
I'll ask the Tushar sir. For civil, the timetable, they have received the timetable, I think so. Isn't it for civil student?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Here, so Tushar sir will declare the timetable. I'll ask him to declare the timetable. Swarm paper is on second day. Listen, the timetable is exactly similar like a internal assessment one. Only dates will change. Okay, your test is starting from Thursday. Am I right? Tomorrow is Wednesday and your test is starting from Thursday. So Thursday, Friday, Saturday, same timetable. Like IA1. Yeah, but then also I will ask the Tushar sir to declare the timetable for the IA2. Any doubt?
Sir,
Now
pattern
write
will
your
be same.
pattern, mostly pattern, yes, it is same. Here actually this freehand is given to the teacher because every subject is different. So he may take in the form of MCQ or teacher may take in the form of some MCQ and numerical questions. Here because it happened that if it is on the MCQ based, here most of the students got 20 out of 20. I don't know how. Okay, here so because of that we are avoiding that MCQ. Okay, but that freehand is given to the teacher. Here he has to decide how to set the paper for his subject.
Okay, sir.
Okay, thank you.